Okay, we are live again for the last session of Early Access. As for me, certainly, just a moment, I conclude my current appointment. Oh, I may immediately gotta get a voice scene. Indeed. So you can provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what is it what you're speaking to me about? The Chief Overseer's personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Meteion. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, how do you think goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another? But I can tell you exactly when Meteion appeared, although she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galeen shared with me. Galeen is my partner, a fellow researcher here to help us. She was turning late one night. She got sight of Chief Hermes sending Meteion heavenward, a host of them. Several days, she would speak of that scene of wonder, serving it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. It's like a story I would like to hear. Sifana! I thought you had already returned to the surface. I would like to thank you again for your valuable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray do not mention it. As you say, my initial plan was to leave after the test. This is going to engross the Chief Hermes' research. Do me a favor in retelling of the site, which are so delighted your Galeen? Of course. Or you could hear it from her lips directly if you prefer. Present, she'll be observing a subject in Meteion the last side. Let's enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the stealthy waters of the world's oceans, recreated in such sublime detail. Imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mrs. Fana. Even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as a Zem. That would help us be without your early academic work. The theories you developed serve the basis for many techniques still in use today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but not embodied that nature with as much enduring passion as you. I dare say that you're now so alive, more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. I will be honored. Well, should I take this opportunity to meet with Galeen in person? Allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. I'll take you out to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That'll be most helpful, thank you. This door warps space inside. I'm on the path to the Skyway. To the door, simply walk straight across the next tower. Ask for admittance to the upper tier. Arriving at the upper tier, walk straight across the Skyway and find yourself at the entrance to Meteion the last side. Galeen will be eager to share her tale with you, I am sure. Just Shubel gang. At least you know why this quest is witness to a spectacle. Spectacle. Which is Vana, just passing through. Allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there's always an observer or two out on the upper Skyway. Up. Mrs. Vana, isn't that what to expect? We would have heard an official welcome. Please, there's no need for fanfare. I'll just speak with Galeen if that might be arranged. Yes, Galeen, of course. I will inform her immediately. Wait, she may have engaged in the testing phase. You could be in for something to wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she is ready to receive us. Okay, this definitely seems voiced. Get the answer to this theme playing again.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view.
Reminds me a lot of the churning mists.
What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
As beautiful as ever.
I swear I could hear the glimmer in your eyes and the adoration in your voice. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures? Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own.
Let me tell you about a man...
By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans.
Let me tell you about a man named Hildebrand.
But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveller. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
I kind of wish I knew what stories you were telling her.
Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it.
Oh yeah, Hildebrand is a real riot.
Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue.
It's just how we are.
To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word. As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us, born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me, an epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true, and a presence without, immense yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating, how keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath,
And think.
I ventured forth on a journey that very day. So very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people, beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose, my love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. A moment she can let go and walk unto the end.
Endwalker, haha, yep.
Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Every step of it.
Pray forgive my lateness. My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
Oh boy.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
Yep.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I have an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteion. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. It was in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone, like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up, then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteion, the Meteion, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Ooh. So that might be where we're going next.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
people are going after the A-Reg. When another piece of puzzle falls into place, and learned thus far, I think it's safe to conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing details of his research to others. Just that either someone must have approached the discoveries, appropriate discoveries and make use of them, or Hermes himself have a hand in causing the final days. There's no reason yet to suspect the former. Consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding on the assumption, our next step should be to find why, even if we might desire such a terrible fate for our star. Set! No. Nope. I'd like to visit the site from which Hermes sends forth the media. If you are fortunate, you might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Please see the spot on the southeast, right from an aisle she can see from the edge. From that same vantage point, which should not be too difficult to locate the other question. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, another round of quests! Will we actually be able to go up there ourselves? We are going to go up there eventually on our own, right? Wild Pegasus. Or Wild Pegasus. Yeah, we're definitely going to go up there naturally at some point. Since the last ether current is up there. Another thing I've been curious about that I'm thinking is when will the second trial be? Because Hope and Heavens were in Stormblood, it was 87, but then Shadowbringer surprised us by putting it at 89 or at the 9. Aren't you looking sweet, looking familiar? Tell me, to whom do you belong? Oh, you're Zems, are you? She's a goodly sort, would you say? Always bringing times of trouble to extend a hand to those in need. Given that I'm one such, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I borrowed you for a bit. I think the debate was held in Kisses Hyperborea regarding the evaluation of creations. Ooh. Particular minutes were taken in during said forum. I should like you to fetch for me. Dear friend Amarod asked for them, you see, and I plain to forget all about it. Would you be so kind? They were to Scrivener in charge and asked them to wait your coming for the Peripedia Crystalline. Documents are being held. Once you've got the notes, return to me here. Very familiar carrots. Dear, I'm starting to worry some. It's my colleague, you see. We heard the torrid screech of Meteion. We're rushing out to check after what all the fuss about. I was thinking of falling after him, but, well, just look at me. You, however, appear well-versed in combat and all such sanguinary escapades. Perhaps you might see if aught is amiss and ensure my co-worker hasn't come into any harm. That's very kind of you to agree to such a request. As I saw him, he's racing out to the southern end of Calamelius Zephyros. Do you promise to hurry? I'm half afraid he wound up on the wrong side of some nasty fiend's fangs. What a sight! An Emplo sneezes and tufts of cloud metal flying every which way. Well, while highly amusing, I'll never be able to gather them all up alone, unless you're willing to lend a hand. Thank you so much. Let's split up as they're looking for them. We're gonna look out for fluffy white plants floating around pointed oikos, and bring any you find back here. Some cloud mellow. What's the weather? Umbra wind. Priggish technometrist, most succulent name. A name for it. One that will stand the test of time as it passes through generation after generation. We break it down. What's in a name, really? Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. You're familiar, I take it? Very good. Though, who is I wonder? Well, that's not important right now. You've got ears enough to listen to my plight. It's also a job of great import, nomenclature. Currently, I find myself facing out a sort of creative blockage regards to this fellow's name. The cactar. Each does not only survive the vicious wilds of hungry gardens, but has thrived in the things to its ossified spines. So that's its name fitting its rugged tenacity. By its singularly unique physical properties, its creator never bothered to refer to it as anything besides its designation, Euros through and O. It abides so uninspired a name for a creation as remarkable as this. And its rub. Unlike its captivating qualities, I yet to hit upon a captivating name. This is my way to take a turn about the grounds to stimulate the creative juices, so to speak. See, I realize two heads may be better than one. What do you say? Would you care to join me for a walk? Sure. Excellent. You, my quick-witted familiar friend, will be a boon indeed to my imagination. Let's say we take a quiet moment to cogitate between the large trees to the south of here. The lady in her marble. Woken by the familiar. Hope she's alright. I want to go after her, but when she comes back while I'm away. What's a familiar? Can you deliver me a message? I have an associate who works much too hard. I wanted to tell her to take a break and join me for a nice relaxing meal. Since they're familiar already, let's fail their turn. As a marital entity, it's too simple to handle more than one at a time, so we might be stuck attending their film request. Am I checking them both for me? Give you a little something if you're willing to help out. Wonderful. Knowing my associate, she's probably dozing off somewhere around the trees to the north. What would happen if she had a good night's rest for once? You give her a poke to wake her up. Got a whole horse of corpicers. Terror on two legs. You're familiar, aren't you? Perhaps you'll be able to help me. This is an appeal for assistance from a colleague of mine, but I'm up to my eyeballs in work as it is. Might you step in where I cannot? Your benevolence does you credit. Mr. I spoke of has striking red hair, is likely to linger on the south side of Calamelios Zephyros. Turn this in. I should have 5 regular quests left. Shoe bill. Wasn't the shoe bill like the minion that drops from Amarant? Do you find any of the plants? Perfect. It's such a relief to have them back. A somewhat amateur creator invented the concept of to bring more life into clouds. It's all well and good. They can get blown away far too easily. It'd be nice if they're a bit more wind resistant. We need to know how they settle in a place where fear of them flying off because some beast breathes on them too hard. I better put them back to where they belong for a light breeze that does all your hard work. Here, take this as thanks for your help. Hard-working observer. Yep. Oh. How long was I asleep? Epipharon said, you? Just to invite me to eat? I said familiar for something so trivial. Though, come to think of it, I could use a meal. Please let him know I'll be along soon. Wait, are you familiar as well? How's you one of us for a moment? Anyway, thank you for waking me. Suppose we'll be eating our usual place. A nice cup of tea to start with sounds lovely. Well, do not also need to depart to Epiphron? So that little elemental was a familiar, I guess. It's like, oh, message delivered. Since the thing did not have the thinking ability to say like, oh, wake up to deliver message. I do wonder what the level 87 dungeon will be, though. It's familiar then. Very good. Here are the records of the forum. Careful note, sizable stack of volumes. Try to jump any on the way back. Ooh, carry task. Be too bad. Whoop. Boosh. The other documents I requested, my word, must have been terribly heavy. The Vertex book is involved in the operation of Adonisis Anator, a facility which houses myriad concepts, cogitations, and ideas. He felt that certain procedures, especially ones concerning living creations, were lacking in information. He sought detailed records so that he might fill the blanks, so to speak. I believe you owed a little reward for your help. I'll think of where to yacht for you while I pack my belongings the journey ahead of me. Come see me at entrance point in Oikos. I'm sure you'll have made up your mind by then. Thank you for your help. My familiar says my associate accepted my invitation. This is what happened, yes? Good. I think I can carry out his duties on a basic level, at least. I sent it to convey ideas through information laden ether rather than design, so I'm happy to see communication was successful. As the however, as the method is effective when the recipient is a message asleep, I like to work on fixing that. Not now. Enjoying time with my associate is a priority at the moment. Thank you for your help. There you are. I finished my packing. As it so happens, I have hit upon a more commensurate gift. Here, food, and freshly made too. Try it. Sure you'll love it. Farewell, familiar. Give my regards to Azim. Spicy shakshuka. Right here's researcher. Ooh, got a shoulder wound. Oh, you're familiar, aren't you? Once in by Gafir, no doubt. Well, thank goodness you're here. I confess I'm still somewhat of a daze. With you here, I at least feel safe enough to stop and catch my breath. Something came over the specimen I was examining, though. I'm not entirely sure what. I've never seen it before. It behaved so erratically before. At any rate, it managed to slip my grasp and escape. I tried to chase after it, but I'm not half so fleet-footed. Complicated matters. I think he's a very nervous temperament. Will flee if anyone so much as approaches it. I considered imbuing some sort of sleeping spell into a dart which one might shoot it from a height, but that's such a impeccable aim. Not I to be sure. Do you? Mm-hmm. You do? I admit that proposal has made someone in jest. This works out perfectly, so it's settled. You shall put our skittish beast to rest. Find yourself a vantage point from a rise side place here with this blow dart. Bring the frenzied fiend under control. Again, me. Well, I'll stay here and take a moment to collect myself. Level 90, dang. Grand designs. Ooh. Oh yeah, these little guys. I was much too close for my liking. Your timing was truly immaculate. Quite trapped and would have been gobbled up if not for your timely interference. It was the agitated cries of millennia under me here. When I arrived and see what had inspired his howling, look at this fellow being set upon me by that raging creature. I didn't hate to insert myself in the fray, of course. I should be fine. But the familiar of whom I'm most concerned. Could you make sure it's unharmed? Many pursuing injuries, scrapes and bruises, left behind a dazzling carrot. Just to say thank you, deliver the carrot to the long-haired observer. I believe you know they're not too severely injured. Oh my, what is that? Root vegetable has such an uncommon luster that one might think, oh, that's not edible. Not only is it safe for consumption, but imparts joy to those who have partaken in it. Yeah! Moon carrots! Is that a creature left behind? Carrot of happiness. Striking color for a carrot, would you say? Perhaps this was its way of showing its gratitude. What a thoughtful creature. I've never seen before. Which familiar could it be, I wonder? I perform an investigation upon my return. Oh, then, can we head back to Point Noigos? I'm in a rather sorry state. I'd like to get cleaned up as soon as possible. Oh, he turned around perfectly. Let's find a creature. Oh! Oh, I can't zoom in. That's the mini Matanga. Got it. I had to like anticipate where it's gonna go. I gotta lead the shot. Edit. Path up. There's a send up with forest, stunning sight. Let the breeze so bracing and lift the spirits. Let the susurrus of the Melanoid's mysteries so pleasant to induce great thoughts. Surely with all the inspiration that surrounds us, you'll have stirred into contemplation. Tell me, what is it you focus so squarely upon? The remote task that I said waiting to be done. These familiars have their fair share of woes. How does you take this point for relaxing? Simply let the words wash over you. The rest of the beliefs play in your ears and just think. They're really making me use a lot of different emotes. For a time, like you hear the breeze, like a calming whisper in your ears, all of a sudden, a groan invades your peace of mind. Current surviving extreme weather conditions, his adaptability is second to none. Very name suitable for such a creature. I practically feel genius at the tip of my tongue, yet nothing comes. Oh bother, this won't do. Now will it? Hey Jasper, would you accompany me a while longer? Come, let's away to a westerly waterfall. How must be to hit a moving target with so small an object. Most impressive. Well, allow me to take the dozing specimen off your hands. Watching it rest its eyes, you might be convinced that this creature is placid and well behaved. You would be wrong, and frankly, you should know better. Why, what a precious sight our little beast makes who is now running amok. A shame, I can't be this adorable all the time. This was, in fact, one amateur creator's answer to a walking shark that recently gained approval. Somewhat hasty and ill-advised attempt, if you ask me. Credit is due, though. The species of bipedal is bipedal, despite its base being that of a quadrupedal beast. Its prediction for being an excitable nuisance, however, means it cannot be out of any real use to our star. Her needs a healthy dose of an intellect. I report stating as such. While I do that, turn to Glyphira and tell her the assistance you rendered. Oh, and offer her my gratitude, too, would you? So witnessing the origins of the Matanga. The walking elephants were made to compete with walking sharks. Ooh, somebody's asking about Shockmaw. Listen close, can you hear it? Waterfall whose streams at once ferocious and tender. We spray kisses surrounding like an affectionate pitter-patter. But indeed, and like to give rise to brilliance! Think again. Beady eyes appear to scan its surroundings. This creature bears strong resemblance to a plant, so perhaps a planticus? It's also very deep for succulent. I got it, succulent! Oh, goodness gracious, that's just foul. We're quite a loss for names beyond the paltry few I've offered. I've had a fresh concept. What do you find endearing about this creation? Sleek green skin. So that did the trick. Your observation skills have stirred my imagination. Come up with a very worthy name. And you're pointing to at once. Another creation shares its nomenclature. You don't like too far behind, yes? You're due a suitable gift for the help you provided, after all. And more glorious shout set. And man, Taito! Why are you so damn sexy? I miss you two so much! And proceeding that was, I'm bawling! How good it is to see you again, my friend? Or who you plucked from the jaws of death itself, taking treatment for his wounds as we speak. Heard entire tale. However much familiar from the scene, it's such but it's like to be researching when such familiar. On that, or that's the story anyway. Perhaps the one you came across is related to that business. Regardless of its origin, it's like a rather polite creature. I was told it left behind a sort of gift. Yet I shouldn't be outdone by my buddy, charming though it surely is. Here you are, a present. It's nothing special. Hope it provides Who's as scrumptious as a carrot or mysterious familiar bestowed upon you and my colleagues. Noodles of Elpis. Yeah, was that bunny a precursor to the Loperids? I must say I greatly enjoy our time together. I believe nothing cultivates creativity quite like the sharing of ideas. So often I'm forced to work alone. And I know it pains me to admit this. It's not much fun to ponder in the silence of one's own company. In fact, I can't even advise. All it means now is to go to a preparatory crystalline, ensure there's no record of a similar name creation, and appoint Euros 310 with its no name, official name. Should I hit another metaphorical roadblock, I shall remember to always ponder while preambulating. Thank you again for your help in this matter. It is most appreciated. What are you gonna name it? I didn't tell me. Frick. There you are. Thank you for tidying up that bit of a mess for me. Speaking of which, what was that mess exactly? A thrilling game of chase the creation, was it? A concept of a sorry marriage indeed. It looks like the researcher was able to glean some valuable information. False with it ends well, I suppose. The vault goes according to the reports made. Sufficient intellect can be cultivated, especially which should prove a valuable contribution to our world. Thank you again for your assistance. Make our way through the MSQ. I saw a few people standing to the port. Oh, we're just gonna fly? Oh, that's somebody's mount. Congratulations, Mr. Research. Where would I go? Ah, what about that one? It means to fly? It's quite a distance away. Nope, I need a few more ether currents. Convenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. Argos? Argos! Duggleback! My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry a lander here over to that island? Separate creature, no place in this great star we have not together traveled. Still remains opposite in the presence of strangers. Argos are about exacting standards, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm seeing this and suddenly thinking time loop stuff because of how excited Argos was to see us in the future. What? You've written before? Ah, you're before meaning my after. Not at all confusing, that. Interesting. It's certainly not unthinkable. Taking of the here now, great condition for us to face off in a sparring match. Oh! Stated to him that you're capable of holding your own against me in battle. Should have convinced Argos they're worthy of his back. Besides, I might even teach you a thing or two in the bargain. You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, I'll certainly be a moment to remember. A memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Choose your battlefield! I admire your confidence. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I'll wait you at the clearing over yonder. Ah, that's why people are standing there. We're gonna get an instance over there? I kinda hope we get an instance over there. I see Chad is talking about shitty mentors. Known unknown. Oh, these things. You were the first boss of Ananisis, was it? Oh. Yeah, Ananisis. Yep. Instance time. Worthy of his back. Oh! Sword and shield. Oh, we got 4. Oh. Every hero's mental, armed with a hero's blade.
Let neither side hold back.
Music playing. The Cleos. Oh boy!
My blade sings!
Oh. True Blink? I'm glad he has a good amount of wind-up for that attack.
My blade sings!
He's doing that a lot.
Impressive. I shall have to try something different.
Oh, Moses mental, you know, a dancer. Uses work before. Bitch.
No quarter.
Yeah, Torntea.
Have a taste.
This is a little crazy, actually.
I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither will I.
Mental. Armed with the Megas and Stout. True Arrow 4.
Prepare yourself.
Why does it sim? Dang it. Judge the angle of movement. Bam!
Very well. Let us move to the final trial.
Those ones I need to focus on. Remember that for the future. Dead.
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will!
Get some theory on weapon master stuff going.
You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have seen enough.
Okay, that was awesome. I've got this awesome theme playing. Is it gonna be this credits theme?
'Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you. One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azem when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, her strength was astounding.
Well, I am a Zem.
As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys.
Hey.
Well now, I dare say he is warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
Like we see in the future! Argos will soon have us standing in the very spot where the media made their departure in the night sky. If any luck, learn something of Hermes' intentions. Hope is that we will find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. We might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us rather than against us. Flower upon your return. Let's move over to the edge for mounting, shall we? Allow Argos to catch the currents rising up from below and give us a smooth ride over the isle. Yeah, people just talking about the mess as the mentor system. Almost every, like... It seems like every mentor is just, like, a bad mentor. Motion to his back for his muzzle. You've been given the go-ahead. Hop on. Okay, it's a far island. Isn't this pleasant? And Argo certainly seems to think so. What is the name of that tree? No, it's something. Oh, wait. Noidovorion. Quite a striking specimen, is it not? Starts landing. I wouldn't mind you tailing off at the last moment.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment.
Which is very private.
The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before?
Echoing?
So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you.
Ah,
Come
gonna
and
help
stand
force
before
an
me.
echo. Oh, that's gonna be good.
There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event
Learning about
from
just
ripples left in
mechanics
the
of the
ambient
echo.
ether. As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
Here we go.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness.
Ooh.
Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last. Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate.
You had to figure
We'll
that
know
out.
the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us.
Yes.
Diverse in form and culture. Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
like... how?
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No, I will think earnestly on them all. And I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence.
He's just a big thinker and a deep thinker.
Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life. Meteion, though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet, learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples? Covered in syrup?
Yep.
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps... a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
Uh-huh.
So, what is your opinion?
Hermes wouldn't wish for the final days.
I am inclined to agree. As we had suspected, the two are somehow involved. Yet 'tis difficult to believe that they would deliberately seek to end all life.
Could they something unintentionally created?
In light of this,
Does seem
I
likely.
propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself.
Can't tell him about.
If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution.
Yeah, but don't tell him about his future self. The degradation his very being went through.
Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness. 'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
Is there any other place where Hermes might be in Elpis? Pretty worse than looking his Hyperbaria, large facility, ends in Exocecados, Boreas, Northern Isle. I wonder, Evander, for an intuition which claims to be studiously researched every species designed for release in the world, do you not question how they find room for them on so few islands? How has been since itself, especially with the practice before back in the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. Same was true for the interior of the facility as magically constructed environs. 'Tis there within those sprawling habitats that chief overseer and most of Elvis's observers connect the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via teleporter north of Puerto Noicos. Ooh, is that going to be the dungeon? Or is this... Oh! More side quests! Perks of being a lost flower. But a visitor too, aren't you? Has to be willing to help me then. Happen to see a blue-haired woman in the area? She wouldn't have been wearing a mask. I see, she and I are students of Academia Nider. Intended to spend our downtime visiting Elpis together. Here's her way back when she realized she forgot something back and ignores this. So she ran back. And the last I saw of her, she'd be a little bit ill, how should I put it, scatterbrained. Maybe we'll simply got lost on her way back. And I observed her myself. Before she comes back while I'm away. Maybe it's trouble. Perhaps you could go be so kind as to look for her? Because she won't be wearing a mask. She'll stand out a touch. We'll find her in the area of, if enemies is noticed, no likelihood. If you go back, do come across her, could you help her out a bit? Make sure she comes back. An expected yes. Pericles! The abyss stares back. Still no reaction. What do you think we're supposed to try now? Perfect. It's familiar. Over the observation team for a new kind of bird. Giving us some trouble. One will react at all, no matter what anyone does to it. Could you maybe give it a try? Us, the shoe bill. I bet I can get a reaction. I certainly hope so. And I've got something for you if you succeed. I have a specialist in avian species working with the creation in question. You can help with the particulars. I'll find him by the towering structure northeast of this Arbor settlement here. Definitely horrible. I want a run of Laser Mage. Sage. Phytocarybdis. You there. Please, it's most urgent. A colleague of mine for the meet this notice has just sent word of a most disturbing nature. Blue Charybdis was flagging his flying, came separated from his fellows. I gathered, based on my friend's manic message, as last seen taking wing to Peripedia crystalline. We are all of us searching far and wide. Could you look in the direction of Peripedia crystalline? Help and not go unrewarded? I can show you of that. What do you think, you nuts? We have to be able to locate this lost creature. Sure that Charybdis have a penchant for heights. While scanning the skies around here, we'll lead the upper floors up. Peripedia crystalline to you. How to find the creature spoke of. Use the etheric rope to bind it. Bindings cause no injury or pain. Rolling bot. Ryan's got no moss. Excuse me, give a moment. I'm searching for a regular creation. Need extra set of hands to assist in their apprehension. I was keeping such a close watch on the thing, and it had been so well behaved. Hardly could rest my eyes for a second when I look up, though, poof, gone, just like that. Please, won't you help me find it? I'll make it worth your while, I promise. Oh, thank you. I'll continue to search in this vicinity, though. It's like this creature scampered off further afield. Why scour the area here? Wait to explore the eastern edge of Rumination's Ramble? I should probably tell you about the creature you're looking for. He called him Brian. I think he bears a passing resemblance to a moss bloom, but wither and perish without water. We're becoming an overgrown monstrosity if too much. Keeping it hydrated is a delicate balancing act. Creatures falling into the river will be, suffice to say, too big to carry on at one's own. Find it submerged in a body of water, try to move as much moisture as you can. That'll shrink it somewhat. Use a drying agent on it to drain the salt and salt. It's a rave at you or acting anyway on our pages, so do it and capture it with this etheric rope. Take it to the skies. Gives me a sim familiar. I have a favor to ask the observers here. Since they're all awfully preoccupied, perhaps I can ask you instead. Experimenting with crossbreeding different types of plants, there's still they finally produced a whole new species, up to the point where they rose up and floated away. I saw them. They were heading toward the eastern side of the island. I had to wrangle a goodly number of them. Still 8 or so missing. Could you help me recapture them? Thank you. Here use a etheric rope to capture, say, 4 of them. I can handle the rest. Take the skies and the mist stares back on that side. Quests. What's some Lolos you got there? Even familiar. It would be awfully inconvenient. What's the assisting an experiment that could help increase your reserves? I need one more ingredient before I can get started. If you could get your hands on a bit of slime from an Eidos in the forest, that'd be a great help. Use illusionary magic to experiment with the shaking nearby creatures. The only trick you can find one, but not impossible. Keep your eyes peeled for anything acting out of place. Once you think you okay, Eidos, use this crystallized concept to dispel the illusion. Should be a relatively simple task to defeat the creature. Take a nice heaping handful of gunk. Be warned, if you use the crystal or anything else, it tends to react violently. Make a mistake, there's no shame in beating a hasty retreat. Siren flower. A rather unusual familiar, aren't you? I haven't seen your concept file at the Bureau of Architect. I never crawled across anything like you in all my years of research. Your sounds familiar. Western explains it. Her creations are truly something else. I'm even more intrigued now. Do you mind if I observed you for a time? Make it worth your while, of course. Fantastic! I can hardly wait to get started. Not here. This electric conduct requires to relocate to the West Ways. Please come and join me when you're ready. Meteion creator. Best lightning starts. Greetings. I'm researching from the words of Meteion, dedicating my life to studying and creating aquatic life, and the main focus on developing a new shark species. That creation completed its round of observation and ignores this, and will be released after one final test. Thing is, I hope you consult the taxonomist for the Bureau of Architects hands down its official registration. See when you name my last shark, it could be, if I can, Spoid Radios with such a marvelous name. Turns out, it's rather difficult to track down a specific person in a place such as this. Could you help me? Thank you. Take this model of previous creation I mentioned. Whoever named it should hopefully be able to recognize it. Something I could help you with? Figurine. Yep, he's the Major General Indian. What named the species? That's right, but I haven't a clue. Certainly not me. Side story! This is a pickle. What am I to do to... Please tell me you're here to deliver a message from Cleon. You are familiar, yes? Is this familiar? Oh, and I do like the name Evander. If you belong to them, then when did you become a visitor from Amarot? You were meant to arrive some time ago. Our worldly subjects are accustomed to the presence of long-term observers. As someone outside of Elpis gets a visit, their actions can be somewhat unpredictable, occasionally violent. Where's the guy to track down Cleon and see that no harm has befallen him? Visitors don't wear masks, so it should be easy to spot. If you happen to find him in the process of being mauled, you have my permission to terminate the offending subject. Safety first. Someone just turned in that quest. Since they got... Ooh. Familiar versus familiar. Can you spare a moment, familiar? I'd like to gauge my own familiar's capacity against yours. Since this big one's blue eyes, they're especially sensitive to ethereal emissions. Part of my testing, I propose a race between the two of you. I imbue Gamelia Bloom with a unique trace of ether. Whoever fights it first is the winner. I suppose it wouldn't be much of a contest unless you could see the ether as well. So long as your crystal will allow you to detect its presence. Flowers nearby, when you use it, the crystal will emit a brilliant light for your eyes for the prize, less dazzling the low will be. Enough you require for instruction. Now, let's get the competition begin. Here's what's coming. Now, let's get straight to business. I can just reach out and touch some Orpheus songflowers. The pretty blooms, light blue in color, emit these bubbles, which enthrall any overly curious creatures. Think of a defense mechanism. No effect on sleeping beings such as myself. I'm fascinated to know how to affect you. Fear not, I'll be sure to intervene should you begin to fall under its spell, or never lead to a familiar of such fate, especially a familiar created by a Zem. I've created 3 flowers of varying size and potencies, to begin with the smallest and weakest. Oh, maybe to protect you from the flower itself, but any nearby beasts are already in influence. I'm afraid you will have to be the one to protect me. Fighting is never my forte. Oh, we got slow escort. Let go. There we go. Nothing to affect me. No reaction. Interesting. Try a more powerful one, shall we? Let's see if I can take care of this quick. Say that's true, and now Orpheus Sunflower, that's not undersized. Oh, they immediately focus on him. This is successfully scored the. Oh. It was not close enough. But the product don't feel any different. I think let's see how fair against an exceptionally large one. God damn it, spotted me again. Sort circles. Nothing happens. Incredible! Even a flood of this size is not affecting you whatsoever. But for sure you'd be enthralled. Seeing the sparse nature of your ether, it simply doesn't make sense. Sam must possess some master which eludes me. In any case, that is our spirit. I'll dissolve these blooms and make you back at Point Oikos. These things. What do you have there? And there's big radio's, of course I know it. I need it after all. It's Kratos calling out a cloud of Selake. I decided to go something more closely tied to a distinct way of moving. I didn't really catch the image of it rushing towards forward with its tiny steps, somewhat swift and slow at once. In case you're curious, it comes from a proverb meaning more haste, less speed. Kratos made the name her illustration. Of course it'd be honored to do so. It's an Anagnosis, right? I look forward to seeing it soon. further south and give it a pop or two. Ooh, must be nearby. Further closer this way. Where I see it. If you're right flower, bring it back to the arena. Nothing back down there. I'm quite certain this is gonna be like the last batch of quests we get here. Oh, okay. What you're getting the raiding ether current quests. Thank you for taking the initiative. I'm not sure about the etiquette of throwing a creature under observation. I'm Cleon. We still ride from Amarok. I assume Myra said you to fetch me. I think, well, it's best not to keep her waiting any longer. We're not. I'll avoid upsetting any more of the local inhabitants. This one. This is like, I have 3 ropes. Which one is it? Oh, the one I have the second before. Speed along the bike. What are they doing? I was like going to do something, my brain just like blue screen for a second. Oh, you're going to creation areas in corporate car. Look at the brine you're searching. Use drying agent to remove some of its excessive moisture. lengthy, bro. I think just like all that streaming is taking its toll on me. I'm getting like sleepy moments, I think. Yep, there it is! You're sent to help with the fellow's attention, yes? Let's get you two acquainted. This is an abyssus, so beneath the way it sees just stare off into the abyss. Poor colleagues got a perch on Maloney's antler, brought it in for closer study. That's everything we know. We have no idea where it came from, who made it, or even what it really is. I get a kiss this hyperbole eventually. I want to get some notes on it first, namely how it reacts to external stimuli. This is yet to acknowledge any of us. Can maybe help but you get a better understanding or yearning to seem familiar? I feel like giving you a pet, don't you? Yeah, getting the sleepies definitely. Just need to notice you're touching it and continue to stare in the distance. This just doesn't acknowledge your prodding. You good? Ideas? He's gonna try giving it a hug. You could have sworn that Abyssus glanced at you, eyes narrowed in irritation. Oh, nothing? Too bad, really. Actually, I think it moved. What did it do? I can't believe I missed it. How's the Abyssus only responds to signs of affection? As such, I need to help experiment a bit more. Well, bird does the test, each with a different expression of love. No, I suppose you have other duties to attend to. Still, I told him I got a reaction of him. Had you please gear if Master Pericles and guards to go to collect your reward. Sleepiness in my brain even more excited than usual. We're gonna make some Shisui because of this. thought it was a suspicious one. Or maybe it's simply the one that's different from the others. I thought I was suspicious because it's just looking at a tree. Just staring off at a tree. Like the case of odd one out. Loop. Sure didn't what we got. Hopefully I won't be building off too much more. Telling me your time, it was most enlightening, but actually perplexing. It was still a ether, it's something that keeps you resist the outside influence. Physical constitution, perhaps? It is to consider when creating familiars in the future, at least. I promised you a reward, didn't I? Here you go. If you excuse me, I have some data analysis and concept planning to do. I'm assuming with the slam, I hope. If only every familiar is as useful as you. With this, I can make a potion to increase your ether production. All the ingredients in order: Epigraph Brain, a Monoceros Horn, Ophion Entrails. How should apply any subbending natural fences, relying on a chorionic property designed to generate either compatible with your existing etheric signature. Silver, yes. Have this brute for a bit. Wheels are ready to break. Dust on my stock. Explosives inside. I'm ready to break. Have brute for a bit. Rich again. Very far away. I wait to be of service. Perhaps I could you from the other duties instead. With the apology, come back with this potion. In the meantime, take this for your troubles. Look funny at my taxonomist. Okay, I'm just gonna take this off for a bit. Gives the new one a name too. That's wonderful news. This latest creation is actually a direct improvement over the last. I gave it more legs for a total of 8, so you move about even more quickly over land. Was that taken care of? Oh, God, he made a sharktopus! I just realized! A shark of 8 legs, he made a sharktopus! Is that taken care of? I need to hurry back to Agnosis. Before I go, here, token of my gratitude. Side story one. Commander, thank you for seeing to the safety of our guests. Indeed, my hesitancy to act would have ended poorly had your messenger not been there to shield me. I'm certainly glad she was. Now, shall we proceed to the bits of the day? Maybe that you had some concerns regarding their personal creations. Yes, as embarrassing as to admit, I was worried about the concepts of registered to Bureau Architect may not be fit for release into the wild. I wouldn't need to feel embarrassed. You wouldn't be the first visitor we've had to express difficulty in helping their children leave the nest. You can look in on them right now if you like. Much like that, but I do have one request. When you shoot to rescue the beast, I'll treat you to the expressive display of your battle prowess. Think your strength instinct will be a perfect candidate for validating the worth of my modest creations. Let's insist that you join us. Fascinating notion. Yes, I'm quite agree with your assessment. We should go together whenever you're ready, Evander. Yeah, I can see actually this guy's like, hey, those two are like, what is taking it back? There's. Thank you for agreeing to accompany us, Evander. Shall we? Surely. What is the name of your creation again? The Petrichoi. Delightfully roly-poly pudding of a thing. Yes, to win over Rumination's Ramble. My brother, Alkaios, is in charge of attending to it. Bring this way, if you please. Really quick, did you find the bloom already? Incredible. Never seen such a talented familiar. Speaking of which, my teeth have been distracted. It's only natural, exerting his feline traits. Also seems to be more like a pet than proper familiar at times. Then, I believe you as a reward for victory, and your assistance for my testing. Please be sure to convey my gratitude to your master as well. Let's go over here for like these. Nope. Got our climbing. Great video. Passage to the middle here. Sure, curb is nowhere to be seen. Aww. They catch the injured Cryptus, according to Point Noikos, deliver the winged captive to the frazzled researcher. Oh yeah, actually there is one all the way over there. Go up. This is like an ether current quest, so yeah, I really do need to get it done. Yes, can I help you? No, wait. Do you need directions anywhere? I have to be rude. I beg of you. Ask someone else. I happen to be lost myself. What was that? A woman asked you to come and find me? You'll be my friend, no doubt. Embarrassing. How'd you keep this hopelessly directionless side of myself under wraps? I feel terrible leaving you like that. I clearly forgot a task for one of my professors. I was about to collect the item I was tasked for, which I found things. I got another turned around when attempting your turn. Don't worry about me. I'll just find my own. If I'm right, you can find the sword easily to teleporter. I think. I mean, I know. I've been to your friend anyway. I can escort you. You mean truly? Well, it is. I mean, if you're heading that direction anyway, I don't see why I shouldn't take long. Oh, please, after you. If I'm able to get as far as the teleporter connects to Point Echoes, should be able to make the remainder of the trip on my own. Now then, would you mind? I escort her all the way back. There's actually something really nice about just getting the pitter-patter of my steps across just a background of just where there's no background music and just ambient effects. I just hear my own steps or the clops of my mount. Really to see from any side. Should be alright without you now. After all, it's just a straight shot from here to Point Echoes. Goodness, dear fellow, I'm about to give my friend. Kept you waiting for far too long. Well, I really should hurry. She needs no explanation and a heartfelt apology. Do come see us though. I'd like to thank you properly. Oh, I still have 12 wonders as my return. Shit. Yes. At least right here. Since you're on your way back, hasten your return as well. So, what news? I found the blue Charybdis? Great indeed. What impressive it hasn't suffered any truly grievous injuries. What impressive still is able to fly as far as Peripedia crystalline. I've only begun to practice the art of flight recently, as I understand it. But I thought I could cross such a distance with wings still so inexperienced. Not credit for this art go to it itself for its helpful instruction. Well, I, for one, cannot wait to see the Charybdis take to the skies from its perch. At any rate, I think the creature returned to Anagnorisis. Well, it isn't much, considering the service you rendered. I hope this is not too lowly a prize for you. I'll take all the experience points you'll give me. I think you might actually went to start a port. Do you have any luck? Found it! As I expected, flashing about a determinations ramble. Naughty thing. How to do it, I take? Goodness. So they put you to the mill. At least not seem to be too badly wounded, nor does it. Brian has a remarkable ability to predict precipitation and rainfall. If you see it shaking its leaves, you know it's rained on its way. That's why we created it in the first place, to provide those in the wetlands a method by which they might prepare for sudden storms. Fortunately, we have discovered it becomes absolutely enormous when exposed to liquid in large quantities, rendering them rather dangerous in humid areas. Well, back to the drawing board. Anyway, thank you for locating this little rascal, or rather large rascal as the case may be. I'm not who's familiar you are, but you are a tremendous help here for your pains. Plus, you said you were incredibly helpful. Have his thanks as well as mine. I think of the abysses. Strangely enthralling, isn't it? Those penetrating eyes, seem to stare right into your very core. Almost like it's studying you as much as you were studying it. I have to wonder who made it, of what purpose. How to because those Vana. No odd illustration, it is her. My friend again, here's your word for today's work. Back up and around. You get the plants? Thank goodness for that. Though I'd expect no less from as them familiar. Who I might have as well, which means they're all back safe and sound. I parked ignorant, you see? No surprise I inherited the eyes. Having them wander off on their own was rather unexpected. To tell the truth, I never really had a specific use in mind for them. I was best start thinking about that. Whoever the architect won't be impressed with my creation unless it serves a purpose. That mind, obviously should be done. Thank you for your help, and you pass on my regards to them. Skier. But yeah. They won't accept a creation that has no purpose. Now, what if I just want to make something that look cool? Thank you for your help. Should be told, and my friend first stashed off. Christina was right. I was sure she got a sign from Meteion. Lo and behold, I was right. We're studying the words of Meteion and Academia Niter, learning all we can about the engendering of aquatic life from that self-same master. Honestly though, I knew Meteion would ask me to procure a flower of all things. When it's still undergoing testing in Elpis. It's very beautiful, yes. What does it do with ichthyology? Well, nothing, but that's the point. She must be intended as a present. What if for Logrif? Meteion is hopelessly enamored, as we all well know. Yes! I played Eden! We do? It's certainly news to me. Now that you mention it, she must have seen sparks between them. I wonder why I never noticed before. Let's tell it. You need to hurry back and begin an in-depth observation of the romantic entanglements. Can't believe we wasted all this valuable research time lost among the trees. It would have been wasted even more if not for you, good lady. Now my friend and I are together again. You're back to Academia and live with the flower to Meteion before it melts up. Before you brush off a reward, you certainly deserve it. Ah, dude! Who's Bender? I heard something special about you. In a pretty short span of time. Have I introduced? I'm your brother, Alkaios. You're Cleon, yes? Practice of this Betrikoi, as you call them. Yes, I am. Since I'm ready for release, I would love to see their endearing, rotund forms bouncing about free in the world. They reported to me an evaluation. How decision was made after a committee to discuss the result based upon my personal observations? No, they're not ready. No? Might I ask why? Better, it's going to give this Betrikoi a solid poke. Creatures like your familiarity if you shall prove my point. Oh. You see, no response to external stimuli. Creature is far too placid. Let's concentrate on the Betrikoi, a defender of water sources? The current incarnation is not an instinct nor a means to defend itself, much less fend off entities intent upon fouling the waterways. Can I good conscience certify a subject so poorly equipped to carry out its intended purpose? In fact, I suggest you redesign your concept entirely. Your candor, Soon invest in this darling bowl of pudgy flesh. Such a pity. But it isn't familiar. Less than your fair share of the world and its inhabitants. Pondering its physical form, what do you think a magic coin could do to become a more effective guardian? It's create immobilizing slime. Frogs and toads are good for mucus. Brilliant! What innovative mind you have, Evander! Yes, that may suffice. Actually, an effective offensive measure could very well tip the scales towards a favorable judgment. Truly, I shall modify my content at once. I find this one to take him home with me. Once I finish making necessary adjustments, I'll resubmit my request for observation and evaluation. Of course, you're free to do as you wish. I'll make a note of my logs. Having a creative assistant, Evander, bringing it along would be a good idea. I almost wish I could have used my own familiar. It's a shame that Zeb hasn't published your concepts for the world to see. It's easier to hear now. Would you mind lending me your talents a while longer? When in creation mind, I may feel my benefit for your unique perspective. Uniquely majestic. Should you say that? Wonderful, I realize. Well, I just met. I feel such a bond between you, Evander. One more concept I need to finalize. I think of no other entity rather have my side during my ever so worrisome evaluations. You have mine somewhere nearby. My Ios somewhere nearby, don't you, Akaios? Yes, Myra keeps that one under her watchful eye. I know the spot where it usually roams. Come along, you need to cross the stream here. I'm right by a fate. I didn't have to Medusa. Oh, these things. Hoping actual snake-looking dudes. Not those. Oh, this is where he usually spends a greater part of its day. Yes. She never strays around this spot. Perhaps the sight of an unfamiliar visitors made her wary. Let me try to find her. Her being a shaggy, four-legged beast of magic and majestic horns. Curious what this is. Oh, this thing. On a shaggy, four-legged beast, horns really are rather majestic. This must be the Io. Oh, there you are. Hello, my lovely. Come to Myra now. Well, why don't you look at that? I think she's taking a liking to you, Evander. See that Cleon has a liking for stout and stocky designs. Yes, the heftier the better. That is one of my favorites. Round and robust, immersing in spiky protrusions, a truly powerful beast. Finish her dominating and habitat she entered. What do you think? Then the imposing specimen. Its physical strength is readily apparent, yes. And muscles needed to dominate a territory. The creature's field of vision obscured by that mess of wiry hair and curling horns, hurting effective use of its natural weaponry. While being able to hunt and catch prey in a consistent manner, it culminates in a slow death by starvation. It's a recommendation that you redesign it as a grass graze and resubmit the concept as a candidate for livestock. Livestock. Surprisingly, I hear several nutritional deficiencies. We must administer regular ethereal supplements. As if I appear to gain his trust, would you mind doing the honors? Don't give us to eat anything. Simply splash the creature with the solution. Ethereal supplement. See, the ethereal supplement is absorbed into Io's body. Thank you for taking my creation, Evander. I would likely thrive as a livestock animal. I used to really want her to become an apex predator. I still hope I have an eye for things. Could you offer any more insightful suggestions? Are we going to create a behemoth? Unleashing the beast. It's better. I need your worldly experience. And my Io, my darling hulking Io, you might be more than grazing in fields. Look over and tell me what must be done to transform her from potential livestock to apex predator. Oh yeah, we're making the behemoth. Can't you shake the feeling you fought similar beasts before? Since missing horns, rendered all but useless by creatures' poor field of vision. This is a behemoth, isn't it? And now his monstrous claws incapable of tearing a man limb from limb. Yeah, this is a behemoth! This is a proto-behemoth! Even though I was limited vision, one single muscular tail would be enough to shatter bones. But for true dominance, the beast would need something more, something overwhelming. What say you? How can we enhance the deadliness of my creation? An apex predator should wield apex magics. Something like Meteion, for example. Yes! Yes, it's simply simple and definitely effective. I can already picture it. Alcaos, Myra? Would it be to implement some new ideas? Evander has given me much to think about. Strictly speaking, any adjustments should be authorized by the bearer of the architect. I think we allow some temporary modifications for purposes of experimentation. That's more than fair, thank you. There are a few more moments, and I'd like the creation to turn for new and improved IO. Yeah, we're making a behemoth! Unleash the beast! Oh, slow meter building up. Of course, after this we'll have the combined story likely. And then we can move on with the story. Clan has been gone for more than a few moments. How extensive could these changes possibly be? It is done! There we go! There's the behemoth! Roar! Cleon, you surely been busy, haven't you? If Evander's advice began the process, it became difficult to stop. Pruning the horns and hair back, reinforcing talents, moved under arcane ability. Then we cast Meteor as well as Charybdis. Surely now my Io stands at the pinnacle of predators. Long time as observer, I've seen many creation, but this concept ranks the highest echelons. The strength inherent in your Io is more than sufficient to ensure its domination. Wonderful. I've made my refinements to the bureau at once. I think perhaps this new incarnation requires a new name. No, I just didn't feel to stow it. Evander, are you feeling tired of this glorious creature? Behemoth seems apt. So perfect! Shall be known, at least for now. I still need to submit the official registration. Now the time has come for me to return to Amarat. I've decided my next creation will be more of a companion, a pet if you will, suitable for the student of children and very clever familiars. Well, thank you all for the most productive visit. I hope I might impose upon you again soon. I always enjoy hosting visitors of such enthusiasm for their work. Yes, we very much look forward to observing your future concepts. Well, Brother Evander, should I head back to Poikinoikos? Oh. I did not mean to Hagakure. Yeah. I remember thinking about it. They removed Hagakure for a while in Shadowbringers. It was removed at launch. And like that's when they gave us Ikichoten, rather than give us boost based on your Sen. It just gave you a nice big chunk of Sen. But people asked that said they didn't like it because Hagakure was good for clearing your Sen in preparation for battles. Like you're going through a dungeon, and just like you get to the boss, you can quick use Hagakure to reset your Sen for your rotations. So they put it back in. What a wonderful help you were for our visitor, Vendor. Even familiar with them, I cannot but be impressed by your intelligence and unique sense of creativity. However, I agree. Your invention salvaged some promising but unfortunately flawed creations. However, gratitude for providing us with such a fascinating experience. Oh, Alkaios must be so formal, though he has trouble expressing it. I assure you my brothers are absolutely giddy with joy. Thank you again, Evander. Well, I'm sure your duties as familiar keep you occupied. I wish to welcome another chance to share our company. Here it is! Methods of mourning. Tell me, Vader, have you seen much of Anagnorisis? Oh, so you met Overseer Socles then? He said my brother requests for aid. We're just on our way to render our assistance. You're welcome to come along if you like. Maybe you're interested to witness the duty which lies ahead. Come along, let's keep the Overseer waiting. Actually, almost 87. I'm really catching up with all the side quests. Akos, Myra, and Avenger as well. Welcome all of you. So much from you can only one thing. There has been an incident? Yes. The Lycos and one of your friends, more than a few of our observational projects are prematurely ended. Again, the descending rights, of course. Task is burdensome for so few. I do hope to secure your particular expertise. Oh, you wouldn't be aware of the practice, would you, Editor? You're an Elbas, expedite the ethereal dissipation of the deceased by employing time magics. To get the corporeal remains accelerated, absorb back into the ground upon which they stand. We have guessed maybe this time is Alkaios' specialty. But whenever some artifact events involves a mass loss of creations, it's him to whom they turn. There we do. Nevertheless, I don't regret tearing you away from your important work. We don't prepare to sight in the southwest. You follow me? We can put the unpleasant business behind us in short order. Ignorance. This is them, the occupies which fell victim to the Lycans. Assuming evaluated, yes, the poor things really had a chance to fulfill their design. The flesh and bones will return to land, we will ensure that their existence was not in vain. Seeing life taken mid-purpose can be distressing. Have witnessed such events before, Evander? Tell me, how do you express yourself at these times? By making a grave or cairn for the deceased. A physical reminder of the life that was? Interesting sentiment. If we practice such custom in Elpis, we eventually might not pleased to put them. I do like the idea of a tangible offering, though, like a final gift for a friend. Or say it's something organic which could decompose alongside the remains. Say, a bouquet of flowers. Come here, Evander. You're gonna make out of something suitable. You get a flower, and then the flower will decay away with the bodies. Here, I made some flowers of our own. Even those fashion-directed ether tend to sprout with more life and color when we grow them in the soil. Pick yourself a handful, take them back to the overseer. Oh, Krinos. I do believe that even if we do get a dungeon, we should have ample time to finish this zone today. Another good thing is since I'm continuing a quest. Oh, let's actually turn it back on. I can hopefully just like continue on to the next zone still as samurai for the remaining bonuses. Raise creation are acceptable, I trust. Apologies, have we gotten a little carried away with the flowers? Hello, Myra. Your effort is much appreciated. Alkaios, if you'd be so kind. Vessels within which life once flowed, cheated of purpose, stilled and cold, unto the land you now return, fuel upon which new life shall burn. That's a beautiful service. I like to think it brought some joy to their departed souls, much as one feels when receiving a thoughtful gift. As the flowers are a perfect addition, how fortunate we are to have this knowledgeable familiar in our midst. Let's return to commit this event to parchment while it remains fresh in our minds. This little shift in our traditions is a historical moment worth recording. Thank you again, Alkaios. We are ever grateful for your calming presence. And our thanks to you, Maria and Evander, not only for attending, but also elevating the proceedings. Yes, you contributed more than enough. Allow us to take care of the tedious administrative details. We have to see you again, Evander. It's time we are headed back ourselves, dear sister. As you say, please, Evander, join us back at Poitin Oikos. Stand on Laurel Gubu. Oh. Ate it. Fortuitous turn of events, you're present when we received the summons to Anagnorisis. As time marches on, we encounter fewer and fewer of these new and truly unreleased experiences. Yet, ever since you appeared, it's been one surprise after another. Suppose we should expect nothing less from one of Azem's creations. Now we have these precious new ideas that expect us to apply to our duties moving forward. Being of which, we really must be returning to our work. Be well, Evander, and thank you. May our purposes, or simply our paths, align again in the future. Okay, back to MSQ. Yeah, 2 left. I actually really do hope there's not another wave of quests up there. Oh, I just straight up go to the teleporter. He's got on head. I got a teleporter to acknowledge you as my guest. You know how the authority to use as you wish. It's the way to, Kitsen's Hyperborea. Follow this path and turn left at the crossroads. Oh, there it is. Oh, we got that just there. Take you down. Dungeon time? Here we are at the grandest research facility in Elpis. Head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Here's another facility, which we have just discovered. Yep, these two. Furthermore, we've confirmed that the studies into dynamics as well as his creation, Meteion, were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke of appeared to possess a chief depth of knowledge of the subject, nor did we hear any tales of stolen research. He that Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, might be recruited to help prevent one. So saith the illustrious him itself. According to your story, working to find the connection between the celestial current and the final days, we're able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. For people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodeus' sharp eyes, created through the pursuit of solution, this now seems inconceivable. Hallucination is its nature catalyst was one so inexplicable that even we fail to perceive it. But that better fits the description than the invisible intangible dynamics. To return to our next question, how did Hermes, as well as Ferdinand, not recognize the subject of his own research? Let's assume that he either knew and was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all I can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. Our practice of perceiving truth has known that had Fandaniel lied to us. He has no conscious wish for the world end, of that I am certain. Seems there is more to the tale after all. Conduct investigation our own, you see. How comforting. You seem to reach the exact same conclusion. See no reason to delay further. This time we brought Hermes into fold, as it were. Thanks for your understanding. Save your thanks. I just did not say I believed your ridiculous story. Now, myself, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, not how ludicrous or personally offensive I find it. Hunger in the garden. I think if the time for leisure exploration has passed, I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is. Next all over, Meteion is with him. He appears in the midst of an observational study. Just we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path, we teleport to results to Euros for the device at the bottom of the slope. Yes. Almost there. Get to new area. Why am I doing this? Marquillas. They're close by, within the Hungering Gardens. That would be what the circular enclosure you see up just ahead. Doesn't matter, make yourself useful and bring Hermes out here to us. If I were to go, he would assume I was only there to press him on the Fandangle matter. Of all of us present, he's in the best chance of convincing him to put aside his work for the moment. Patients in there, not exactly... Then again, perhaps the better can handle him. She did survive a bout of Fana, after all. Off you go to find Hermes. She'll be ready to come to blows with the garden's denizens. Oh, jeez. Marble Marquise! Blah. Or very forceful blah. These guys are just everywhere. Oh. Are these things just going to continuously spawn? Fighter, what are you doing here? They're keeping Hythodius and Evansville company. Important matter, and unrelated to my decision on Fantasy, you say? Well, yes, I will come as soon as my work here is finished. I'll be long, I promise. We should really wait outside the garden with the others. There's no place for idle exploration. Oh. A second bridge. Fill in the areas. Almost there. All those things. What is that little guy? Yes. Oh, quite a sizable area, actually. Hip. Oh, this guy again. Rhino Medusa. There we go. Yeah, I've done quite a few 87 quests. Oh, actually not as many as I thought I would. Probably because I've been doing all of the side quests again. That's why it seems longer than it actually is. Book of Hermes, then. You're briefly tangled to death as the Hungry Garden as well, I see. Or should I say smell? Can I speak for certain convocation members? I've been impressed by your fortitude. Well done, sir, indeed. As you convince Hermes to confer with us, let's pray things will soon take a turn for the better. Our task will be to meet the Excel who would recreate Amarad and Death of the Ocean. I think best all concerned if such tragic events never come to pass. Be it the future, our future or your past, assuming yours is actually written in stone, I have hope that is. Words not sound. We said he would not be long, yes? We shall wait here until he emerges.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Yes, there is.
Aye. A matter of the utmost gravity. If one can suspend disbelief. Go on then. Tell him what you told us. Who you are and why you came.
I'm from the future, and you kickstarted the apocalypse. Well, not you. A piece of you.
The final days.
The phenomena observed during these star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction. And none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction. We come not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom.
Yes.
And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter, on the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to dynamis.
Yes.
Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics.
I was like that first
In the
final.
second, it warped the people themselves. The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age.
Yeah, instead of whole
As
souls
you
and
know,
feathered souls.
ether, in essence, negates dynamis. Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, Rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics.
Okay.
In contrast, having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether. Thus are they susceptible to the influence of Dynamis and its transformative potential. But that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
Have an idea?
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Yes, tell us, tell us.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source. A source to which the victims must be attuned. One that harbors the selfsame negative emotions. Elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
So, we've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
Who would desire the end of the star?
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere. According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested.
Or if it came from outside?
If the inciting factor came from without a Theris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
You might have inadvertently released it by sending your beings out. By sending the meteoroi out.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Meteion!
Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm.
Yeah, a visitor from another star that brings ruin.
I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts.
It's
May
communicating
we
with Meteion.
please be friends?
Meteion. What is it?
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness. Connection established. Commencing status report.
Got a Genova coming. Oh. Oh.
It hurts!
When we first had our vision of the star failing, when Zodiac fell, we had a
So
voice.
hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
Meteion.
Steady, Meteion. Steady.
So scared, so lonely. The pain, it's too much.
We're just sharing in her pain.
Why do we? They hurt.
Oh no!
Hurt.
Farewell, Meteion.
This is wrong. All wrong.
She's gone? But how?
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings, an ability for avoiding confrontation.
This is it.
Most
This is when it
effective.
comes.
Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
This is how it starts. This is the beginning of the end.
Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right?
This is how it starts. The sisters out in space found something. And that something...
In your
In
mind?
the back?
No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteion also employs Dynamis.
As a weaker soul, I'm more attuned to
That
it.
will explain why you were able to hear her, and we could not.
then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.
This is how it starts! Notice. What did they find? If you heard her voice, she must be elsewhere. So he does inadvertently set everything in motion like this. This is the spark. It seems in my mind, our voices reporting. No, Hermes mustn't hear them. Had to run to hide. Let's flee down the slope. Because she faints whisper. This one, I think. Yep. Event. Greetings, salutations. See her face. Fetching report. Oh no, can't tell them that. Must run far away. Please, don't follow me. Anger's voice fades as you sense her climb to the top of the ridge. We meet all these new characters and half of them have terrible things happen to them. Half the new characters you meet all die horribly so far. I guess it's supposed to be a popular expansion, come on. Not the first one. I can follow him. He's been on the same path. How did it come to be this? How did this? Is this the reason we traveled to the stars? Why we sought out other life forms? Is this the answer? No, it cannot be. It cannot be. What did they find out there? What did her sisters find in the empty vastness of space? What did they find on another star? Search for him and his lesser panda. Over there. Making our way to the left, looks like. Piling a report for dissemination to Hermes and all peoples of Aetheris. Processing expedition data, printing profiles of intelligent civilizations, filing answers to the question, filing report. Navigator, you mustn't listen! She's trying to avoid saying what was found. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Is that a Meteion? Panic and confused, making it a little more difficult to predict her movements. Hermes, what do you make of the situation? The meteor linked to a single mind, a shared consciousness which connects them across any distance. Expect something's happened which disrupted its usual harmony. How might we access the shared consciousness of theirs? Unless you would approach any sentient being directly. In the media's case, he's speaking to any incarnation within physical reach. Unless we can track down the Meteion we just lost, we have no means to communicate with them. We have knowing what fell our sisters, we have to provide directions or guidance. We're going to set our musing aside, concentrate on how we might find her. Here. My dear Meteion, what did you witness out there to frighten you so? Why do you seek to keep it from us? How terrible could it possibly be? Follow, wonder, stumble, listen. Reflection of earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong. Meteion rendered herself invisible, matching her etheric density out of her surroundings, does she not? So, could we not disrupt your concealment or survey of ether? How much of it solidify your presence when we first spotted you? To be sure, I can hardly channel ether to see if these whereabouts are hidden from me. Let's all work together. Better, we'll continue our search in the same manner as before, this time with you in tow. Once you entertain Meteion's likely location, proceed to reveal her wayward familiar for swift ethereal downpour. Very clever. Thankfully, she has made herself easier to capture by fleeing towards the left. Assuming she is made visible, she will no great feat to herd her into a corner. Have our plan. If enter and assault to be our tracker and chopper respectively, the others predict and obstruct Meteion's avenues of escape. So can all keep an eye out for each other's ether to help coordinate our efforts. Let's be about it. Let's see if we are partners for the time being. Let's return to where we last saw Meteion and pick up the trail from there. Keep instead of state of preparedness. They're to rain down ether at a moment's notice, meaning it falls to you to keep the way clear. Following me. This way, try another route then. Over here. How can I fly? Am my focus being restricted? Hide, yes. I'll have to hide then, for no one can find me. Head towards the water's edge. Swim to the lake? It wasn't tiresome enough. That would expansion made it easier to find. We'll lose her this time. So she's rendering herself invisible, not intangible, right? She'll be able to reach the bottom of this drop by climbing down the rocks to the water's edge. Not even think of dragging me over the falls. If I would even know, I'd have drenched from head to toe. I swear I'll feed you to a remora. Yep, the zone. Not here. I'm not here. Please. You there? Now the rock, is she? Very well. You love your snaps. Why? What can't I hide? We will hear your report, good or bad. Commander, what are you saying? Everything's so faint. Sorry, I'm not strong enough. Stay away. I'm begging you. If I can say it will break him. His poor fragile heart. Now we have a chance. Once the other's in position, two of us can herd her into their midst. They find absolutely nothing out there. They find something terrible out there. It's like they're meant to go explore the stars, see what life existed outside of their world. But what did they find? So I'm positive it's not nothing, because of Omega and Shinryu. They fought on another star, the Dragon Star, and like I said, Shinryu. It's Midgard Sommer. They fought on another star where Omega was ravaging his star, the Dragon Star. He fled to our world, and Omega chased after him. So there obviously has to be another world out there, possibly two. So we know there are other worlds of life, since Midgard Sommer is from one. Yep, the dragons are aliens. This also is something that the Sommer did come after the Sundering. Cover not in use, seems to be left to the mercy of the elements. But wait, better no trace me in a distance. Move on. There, I see her. I can't mount. Here. Is she doubling back? Yep, she's doubling back. Into our raiding friends.
Aha! Give chase. We shall herd her into the shelter.
Yes. Oh, he got his mount. You says, like, her report would break him. I'm pretty sure the him is Hermes. The only path is to the shelter. We have the others lying in wait.
Please, Meteion. We must speak.
So intense. Her eyes.
I'm sorry, Hermes. I'm so sorry. If someone can hear these words, then please.
Where is it?
Please protect them. Protect them all.
Here it is. Here it comes. Here comes a spark.
Individual self-suspended. Connection with shared consciousness stable. Our survey is complete. We shall now report our findings. All units safely arrived at their respective destinations. Seeking answers to Hermes' question, we attempted to make contact with the intelligent denizens of each star. Results are as follows, in order of numerical code. Enna. Traces of civilization found. Structures believed to have served as domiciles. No extant life forms detected. Dio. Ruined remnants of buildings scattered across star, surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life could not be verified.
Finding nothing. Nothing.
Tria. Evidence of large population centers, akin to cities recovered. No extant life forms found, only their lingering essence. Tessera. Edifices surmised to be abandoned residences found. No extant life forms detected. Deadly plague or extreme environmental degradation likely to have led to mass extinction.
They are all dead.
Octo. Star found in state of violent conflict. Contact successfully made with inhabitants, but deployment of weapons of mass destruction resulted in total annihilation of local population shortly thereafter.
That might be the dragon
Inea. Star is a barren desert. No identifiable flora found. Bones of living beings resembling men discovered beneath sands, but determination regarding their intelligence inconclusive.
Remind me, Hermes, what exactly was the question you entrusted to Meteion?
Does life exist in other worlds?
I tasked her with asking what others live for. What gives their lives meaning.
Did you consider what may happen if the premise of the question is flawed?
Ask the wrong question, get the wrong answer.
To be able to answer it, one must be living and desire to continue doing so. But if Meteion finds no living beings in the course of her journey, or none who desire to live, what then? What answers would she derive from their silence?
Meteion, enough! Suspend your mission and return hither at once.
Decapente. Local civilization once flourished under auspices of higher power. Said power later laid waste to civilization in fit of rage. Upon revealing this to me, entity elected to self-terminate in lieu of providing answer to question. No other intelligent life forms found.
Has she been going on?
Turning a deaf ear, are we? We are taking Meteion back to Amarot. As I understand, we will need her if we are to bring back all of her sisters.
Yes.
Nope.
Meteion. It isn't right, is it? It isn't right to turn away from the answer. Even if the answer is pain.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
Even if we aberrations must scream ourselves hoarse to be heard. Aye. Whatever answers we find, I will not dismiss them out of hand. These words I said to you, and I will hold myself to them.
Forms.
What is the meaning of this?
Defend meeting.
You cannot take Meteion, not until she has finished her report. All else must wait.
There they go.
You fool!
This is how they start. This is how the final days start. Why, Hermes? Why should you not leave well left alone? These answers assuage the pain you feel when the creation has returned to ether? Have you never cast your cursed question to the stars? May have one day learned that there is to be at peace upon this one. Caging the messenger. First, his head to Kitsis. When he expands into the dimensions of the place, you can have a difficult time locating his ether. Say that he entered from the rooftop, and likely arrived at the uppermost point of the facility. So, do we pursue him? Of course we pursue him. No matter what Hermes might be thinking, beyond his potential threat that needs to be brought under our control. How he should duty safeguard the star take precedence over any personal stake in the matter. Ah, Vander? It's clear we stand on a precipice. May have yet to be determined beyond a shadow of doubt that Meteion on his hand would shift us over the edge. For us, we're to learn the truth of the final days. Let's give chase. Neither Hermes nor Meteion is ultimately responsible. Can't leave them to suffer this torment alone. Agreed on all accounts. Gets his Hyperborea we go. Dungeon time. If this is the dungeon, I'm definitely gonna go to the bathroom first. A whole bunch around here. Okay, definitely dungeon time. What over here? Excuse me, has something happened inside Kisses? Shivna, so glad you're here. Your project alarm was sounded, and since it's put into a state of alert. Procedure dictated we evacuate immediately. You have to investigate further. Hermes is doing, obviously. What's this state of alert entail exactly? Feel dampening magic to the entire facility in response to escaped entities and the like. Since the scholars and observers are unaffected, everything and everyone else is weakened to a fraction of the usual capabilities. Consider us forewarned. We do have urgent business of Chief Hermes. Must enter the premises regardless. Trans willing to enact such measures, but other obstacles he said fit to drop in our path. That enfeebling spell in place, we're not likely to be at our fighting best. Now it's hardly an effective combatant to begin with. We'll offer by the time my ethereal vision. You'll put that talent of yours to good use. You are fairly skilled at spotting weaknesses, if I recall. Fairly skilled, but you've got to raise everyone's expectations. You need only make the most of your strengths, and I will fill in the gaps as required. I was once a Zem after all, so my job to rise to the occasion, be that as a defender, aggressor, or healer. Oh yeah, they're all I trust! I feel better about my lack of prowess already. You, Meteion, can impress upon us with your arcane majesty. You allow potent spells as easy as breathing. You can also channel that power into a protective manner if you choose, yes? Yes, to the stage you can call for it. You should have a cover on all fronts. You let us here, Venda. It is only right that you lead us now. No matter what lies ahead, we'll win through Hermes and Meteion. And we'll face the future together. Oh my god, they're my trust. I have to at least see what their roles are. This is Hyperborea. Soul Seer, he is purely ranged DPS. Yeah, the third seat and all-rounder. Oh, that is cool, but I want to go into people. Most extensive facility in Elpis, since it's Hyperborea, a sprawling complex of magically simulated environs. Concepts awaiting evaluation are brought here for last stages of observation. Upon meeting the appropriate criteria, are finally released into the world at large. Determined not to surrender Meteion. For the facilities that Hermes has taken refuge, you and your companions must find and confront him if you are to shed light upon the truth of the final days. So I gotta go. Bathroom super quick, and then we'll do this dungeon. Okay. Yep. Instant Q. Thank you, tank privileges. Let's get in. Nope. Pop this. I'm quite certain that I should be able to push myself to 88 through this dungeon. This is Hyperborea.
Turn back, else I might be forced.
Oh, hello. You ever wondered about whether creation is beneficial in the start? Wonder more? Our kids is Hyperborea. Mission is turn the answer. Tempered plains, recovered gills, smoking cicadas, fun fields. Sorry, I had to actually let this play out. Oh. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Oh, lots of these dudes. Eating flesh that don't have milk. Okay, after this, no more big pulls. Didn't learn my lessons from last time. No more big pulls. Got a proto-behemoth. Oh, hello. There's philosophy. I got a simulated environment place is definitely the perfect backdrop for lots and lots of varied stuff in one area. I do know that when I get to the level 89 dungeon, I am very much not doing big pulls there right away, if I can remember at least. Rare drops. Have Lissa. Ooh. Tiger Man. Gold Dasher. Frost biting teeth. Okay. I saw the tracks. I'm like, okay, what? Icicle. Yep, here we go. I do find this a really cool gimmick. Add more of this gear. Of course, yeah, flanking. Oh yeah, thankfully I got it like actual this gear. Good. Let's catch up. Up. Insulted her from next match. He gets the full use of its duration.
I'm warning you. Stay away!
count 1 to 3. I always do it in an old Tootsie Pop commercial. Of course, all the striking gear is dropping. Again, I'm getting all the striking gear dropping when I'm the tank. I'm gonna say that. I think it's like, ooh, an observation journal. Mistress Lisa, her creation is based on her concept for bipedal wolf. Ooh. Definitely do explode later. You say like, they really asked me, please use more Darkest Night on these polls. I'm like, okay. Good enough. Yeah, thank you. What's that over there? Okay, I got it. Okay, good. I'm getting the striking gear. Laden Lord. So many tank busters. It's just like the new requirement for a boss. Much as let's have a tank buster. At least we got a nice unified tank buster symbol. We got Inhale. Laws and Ether. Direct Breath. Keep him in the center. Oh, you gotta pay attention to the head. Bomb. Something up on that. Okay, that's a raid wide. Behind it to its left. Of course I pop this, like... Pop an edge just when it's, you also pop a shield. Go. I'm actually getting pretty good so far in the gear. Getting a lot of good striking gear for Masam.
I cannot let you take Meteion. Not yet.
Oh, you can capture all these. Whoa! Throw that down well. TBN is on cooldown. Race is aiming, but a 6 on it.
I must hear their answers before they're expunged from existence.
Gotta get my blood gauge down. So we can keep filling back up again. Carbon spit. Up. Lost it. Yeah, but it's pulling ablations between this and Darkest Night, Blackest Night. Go. Yep. Fight. Winged Defiance, Hermes.
So,
We technically fought him twice this expansion. It's 2 different bosses.
I've no wish to fight, but this time, I cannot yield. Though the world may think me a mad, desperate fool, I will hold fast to my conviction.
got the main ghost.
I will have the time and tranquility I require. Gust and gale, gather to me!
Shooting Estus!
Ancient brand, unleash your power!
Oh!
Dancing wind!
That was wider than I thought it would be.
My foes!
That's a lot wider than I thought it would be.
Stars on high, fall as rain!
In the middle. I need this one. Spellcast res. Oh! Oh, we have a science skill there, though.
Streams of ether! Surge is one!
Quadruple? Aw, shit! Master of just like, hey, yo, things, he definitely has a lot of just. Look at all these wind spells he's using at us. Got double going.
Dancing winds! Pierce my foes!
I can still effect though.
Stars on high! Fall as rain!
Here. Again, I got knocked away. Spread out. Break this. I gotta interrupt every time.
Streams of ether! Surge is one!
Go again.
transformed. Dancing winds, pierce my foes!
Down! I get a card? I thought 2 items.
No! My power!
What am I naming? A codex. Of course, his mask. Living Shadow. We're actually pulling off an LB. Thank you. Yep, and the Hermes card.
It's over, Hermes. In the name of the Convocation, I hereby take Meteion into custody. And setting aside the matter of your nomination, you will come with us too. We require your knowledge to assess and resolve the situation.
Meteion, I am so sorry. Would that I could have listened to your report in full. Reflected upon its meaning and conveyed it to others. That they might reconsider their chosen course. But I have failed. And that wish will never be realized. However, ere our fates become the province of others, I bid you tell me just one thing. Was there happiness in those distant stars? Was there a reason for living?
Everyone has different reasons for living.
We conducted our search as per your instructions. We scoured historical records, communed with the spirits of the deceased, heard the final testaments of the dying, welcomed their shadowed hearts into our own. One race had striven to create a world bereft of animosity. They renounced relationships to avoid interpersonal strife, and in so doing brought about societal collapse. One race had renounced war and devoted itself to the enrichment of its people. They were conquered. Though they destroyed the enemy in reprisal, they could not regain their former glory. One race had concluded that finite time was the root of all woes. Aspiring to shatter its shackles, they went in search of infinity. They discovered nothing is infinite, and that neither time or death can be cheated. Disillusioned, they gave up on the future and themselves. One race had discarded all things that gave rise to sorrow, hoping to have only joy. They found joy lost its savour in the absence of sorrow, and lost their will to live. Though worlds apart, these peoples shared a belief. The belief that they had tried their best. That they had tried to fulfill their potential with every step and success. In the course of which, they learned the truth.
Meteion.
That they would never be free of fear and sorrow, anger and despair, of loneliness, so long as they yet lived.
Meteion is the end.
Even now their souls cry out for oblivion. And to this song of anguish, I lend my voice. We lend our voice. Oh, beloved mankind, shimmering jewels of beautiful Etheris, rejoice, for we will free you from the cruel yoke of existence. There is no need to struggle in vain, for in nihility awaits salvation. You will know peace and serenity, and it will be
So this is how it comes.
We will make our nest at the edge of the universe. And there in the dark of dead worlds, hoard sorrow and suffering. There we will sing, our chorus ever louder and ever clearer, that our song may reach even this ether-shrouded star. Such is the answer we have found in the stars. Such is the gift we now offer to Etheris.
Who are you to decide our fate? To decree we live or die? Have you lost your mind? You heard what she said. She means to destroy us all, yet you'd still take her side?
No, I think it might
In
be
the name of the star, we have discarded those creations
this is
that
his
we
duty to
deem
take care of.
flawed. If we ourselves are flawed,
Oh no.
does it not stand to reason that we too should be discarded?
That is sophistry, and you know it!
Nothing is perfect! Of course
Perhaps it
we're flawed!
is.
We're living beings!
Perhaps I am wrong. But who is to say that you are right? Let us settle this with a determination. In my authority as Chief Overseer of Elpis, I will make a judgment on man's fitness to exist. If he can learn to value all life and retain his will to live, even should his end be justified, he will surely find a way to avert his demise. If not, he will perish from the start. As with all determinations, provisions must be made to ensure fairness. Kairos! Awaken!
Memory reconfiguration system Kairos activated. Awaiting instruction.
You're moving our you're gonna remove memory to the
Come on.
future, aren't you?
Universal memory alteration. Target area. Catesis Hyperborea.
Yep.
Starting point. Arrival of...
Yes, this is how we maintain the time loop!
Convocation at Propylion. Endpoint. The present. Erase the memories of all events. And replace with a vague recollection of the following.
This is how we preserve the time loop. Removes our memories.
I was here, preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to Emet-Selch and Hithodaeus. Meteion's shared consciousness became unstable. She and her sisters could not sustain their existence, and all dissipated with a burst. The resultant shockwave accidentally triggered Kairos, which erased several days of memories from all present. Execute.
Command acknowledged. Initializing. 3 processes remaining to execution.
Bravo. I dare say one would be hard-pressed to make it fairer.
This is how it goes.
Everything that you told us, everything that has happened, the fact we've even met, it will all be gone.
Did you send me away?
Go, Meteion. To the edge of the universe, where none can reach you.
Hermes, won't you come with me? If you were to shed your flesh, I should be able to carry you.
Oh, he already knows this doesn't end.
I will remain. As a man, I will oppose the oblivion you bring.
Silly fool. Had you said yes,
Oh, don't
I
worry.
would have
He
granted
seeks
you
the oblivion in the end.
gentlest end.
She breaks her shackles.
This ends here!
Fly, Meteion!
That is far enough, Hermes!
Argos, to me!
Shifting after him.
First process complete. 2 remaining to execution of memory reconfiguration.
As if we needed more pressure. No matter what, you cannot forget what happened today. For it is the key to saving your future. Your world. This fight is our fight.
We know how it
What
ends.
comes after, our problem to contend with. Not yours. No. Your own struggle awaits. And no one else can take your place.
No.
You must flee this place with your memories intact. And I will see that you do. Now then, where is it?
Where's what?
There you are, my little confluence.
Jeez. Oh. Can she stop him? Oh. Heard a controller sound. Ring.
Almost!
Turns into a bird and flies away.
Very well then.
Oh.
You may elude us this day, but not forever.
stop.
Meteion's gotten away.
Second process complete. One remaining to execution.
Ugh. No time for brooding. Listen well. Beyond lies a spatial confluence that connects the interior sections of this building.
Yes? I had to jump off?
I will destroy the confluence and force open a way outside. When I do, you must jump through.
I alone must escape.
I cannot tell you how sorry I am. But neither can I let you escape!
Oh. Might be exactly what I need, though.
Too brave by half.
Oop.
Exemplary work, as always, Emmett Selk.
Haha.
What? But how? I thought the confluence was...
They baited him!
Over there? Yes. We were rather hoping you would.
It was never anywhere but where it is now. The instant those two began making their way towards nothing, 'twas clear the plan was a diversion.
I'm quite incapable of destroying a confluence, I must confess.
A gambit brazen beyond words. Though we've grown accustomed to reckless improvision due to the antics of an incorrigible associate. Though, in the case of certain present company, incorrigible is an understatement. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect it's a requirement for every Azen. There's no time! Quickly! Even now, I do not believe your tale. I would not suffer us to walk such a wretched path. Still, if it must be said,
Yes.
do not squander it. The legacy I leave you.
Yes.
Final process complete. Executing universal memory alteration.
Go, Argos! I'm fine. Just a little tired.
Man, that was quite the moment, so yeah. So, Fandaniel has always, Hermes has always had the seed of nihilism.
Are we
inside
the
of
only
him.
ones left who see beauty in the world? In life? Are the stars above no more than husks of fallen civilizations? And yet, I feel her. Though she is unimaginably distant, I feel Meteion's
trace you put on
presence
her.
and the place where to we must go. Ere she made good her escape, I placed an enchantment upon her, one which allows us to follow her trail. She has already left the outermost bounds of Aetheris and continues on her way. Given the vastness of the universe, it will still be no easy feat to track her down. But thanks to Emmet Selk and his Ladeus, all is not lost.
Is that
We
the purpose of the
remember.
moon ship? Or to find a
So
new
long
home?
as we remember, our
To hunt-
fates
like to
remain ours
hunt
to shape.
down her? It's to seek out her. So, what now?
What indeed? Let us begin by ascertaining the situation at Catesis Hyperborea, where the others should still be.
Because Hermes raced his own memories.
Given the likely state of their memories, however, it would be imprudent for us to approach them directly. In which case... I am sorry, my friend. I've asked much of you this day. But may I trouble you one last time?
Argos is going to go get the answers.
Argos will investigate in our stead. We will share in his consciousness and see and hear as if we were with him.
He is your familiar.
Now, close your eyes and open your mind.
Okay, we're going to share with it. So pretty much when all these scenes are done, yeah, we'll be shutting it down.
Thank goodness you are unharmed.
Unharmed? There is a gaping hole in my memories. I can scarcely remember arriving here in Elpis.
Forgive me. I was preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to our guests. But Meteion, her shared consciousness became unstable. And she...
So, that's what prompted the state of alert. And when you went to investigate, you were caught in Kairos' accidental operation.
So it would seem. It's all a blur to me.
Such an unfortunate accident. Oh, and what of Venar and your other companion? You went inside together, as I recall.
Ooh.
We did?
We did?
If Venar was with us, I have no recollection of it. But that there is her familiar, is it not? The fellow seems happy enough, so I think it's safe to assume
So they
his
probably
mistress
think
as well.
he's just outside waiting for her or something.
I haven't the slightest notion who this other companion might be, however.
Ah, well, that individual struck me
Yeah.
as
What are their
a bit
opinions on us?
different, for want of a better word. Perhaps it wasn't actually a person, but some manner of creation.
Curious. I must ask Venar about it when next we meet.
If you next.
Yes, you do that. Now, if we may tend to Hermes, whatever this Meteion did, it seems he bore the brunt of it. Once you are fit to travel, you will return with us to Amarot. We need to make certain there are no other ill effects.
And then you'll take your seat as Fantasy.
Also, I am here on business of the 14. We've already had the conversation, like as not, but since your toy wiped my memory, we'll have to have it again.
Yes, of course. As you see fit.
This Kairos,
Ooh.
it manipulates memories through the emission of etheric waves, correct? There is a theory which holds that memories scoured by blasts of ether are restored when the soul is cleansed in the underworld.
Ah.
If true, then perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
I doubt aught of interest occurred. Look forward to the revelation if you like, but I should prefer to reminisce on more meaningful moments.
Maybe that's what we were seeing when he had that dying vision of him as Amon when we killed Zodiark.
Let us rest. If only for a while. After all, you and I... Oh, we still have a long, long way to go.
Yes. You're feeling it all recovered? Understand your exertions are more than purely physical. This one's body, if only remote, is never found merit. Hermes, I think you're likely he will create more intellecties. Poured much of himself into Meteion. That she and her sisters are gone, dissipated in his mind. The grief must be unbearable. For himself, he believed that, had he never acknowledged his dissatisfaction with the world, and the media would never have been born to suffer and die. The effort to join the 14 will be a welcome distraction, and one day, hence, he'll face the advent of the final days, the role of Daniel. Yes. Thou must live, die, and know! Oh! Ah! Oh! They're using just like some of the last words of answers. I think they are the last words of answers. Ah, dang. I'm gonna just like quick fill in the map. Yeah, that's all we had the time for. Just, oh, that was so exciting and intense. We learned the truth of everything. Now we just have to, tomorrow, we'll have to talk with Vana and learn about, like, she'll have to start her plans, for Heidelin and everything. I quickly suspect that the true purpose of the moon is not as a giant, like, arc to ferry everyone away from a dying star, but as a battleship to hoard an army to go to this far-off place at the edge of the universe where Meteion and her kind are and bring the fight to them. I think that's actually the true purpose of the lunar arc. Well, we'll find that out tomorrow. Yeah, but yeah, speaking of which, yeah, tomorrow, yeah, so, I probably won't be getting home till somewhere between, like, 4:45 and 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna get home and immediately jump into the queue. Yeah, just come home, change out my work clothes, come down, turn the PS5, immediately go into the queue ASAP. It's like, if it wasn't for the fact that we just have just like these stupidly long queues, I definitely would be starting on the title screen. Yeah, like I do want to try and start at 6 tomorrow, but if the queue is still stupidly long by that time, I'll wait until I'm actually in. So I think that will be like how it's going to be for just like the rest of the days, because yeah, this is the last day of early access. So like only the people who pre-ordered the game are playing it today. Tomorrow, early access ends, and like the game officially launches, it publicly opens, so anybody who goes out and like buys the game new and fresh can immediately hop right in, so it might have even more people in the queues and stuff. Might get even busier. But we'll see. But until then, this has been Evander Advent. I stream every day here on Twitch starting at 6 o'clock p.m. US Central Time, because early access is over. And join me tomorrow at 6 o'clock or later whenever the queue pops. Or like I get to just like log in EX for Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Till then, good night everybody.